Well, I kind of like it. It's fun. I never get to hear myself. But I also can't hear you.
Well, because
Oh,
I'm
I
not
can
talking
now.
yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I use these microphones, and we're using the SM58 microphone. Because first of all, this is an SM58 stand podcast. We have here
Yes.
today Mary Jacobs, improv business person, podcast, YouTuber extraordinaire. I'm so excited because all of her things are the exact opposite of what we're doing. They're actually organized and brilliant.
Oh, shucks. I don't know. I think this is a pretty dope setup. I've never got to like hear myself, but also I'm sure if I did, Carrie would be like, "Okay, let's figure it out." But she probably is better to be the one listening.
Well, that's, if you have a producer, that's the reason why you have a producer. They're making sure that you're doing all that stuff.
Exactly, exactly.
So how did you guys get together? So like, which one does Carrie produce for you?
Carrie produces Planet NOLA.
Planet
It's
Nola.
just me and her, and we're a dream friggin' team. Carrie Mulder, what's up? If you don't know Carrie Mulder, then who are you? She's one of the best people in comedy in New Orleans.
Absolutely.
But she's somebody that I've known from improv class days, and we've just stayed in touch. We've done shows together. We've volunteered together. When she worked her old job, I'd go to her old job a lot for things because she was working at the junior league,
Yeah.
and they had like events for small business owners and lots of resources for small business owners. So I mean, I was always at the junior league. We just have had a friendship for a while.
But how'd you guys decide to start doing a podcast
Oh, I
together?
think all of this is so relevant because I trust Carrie Mulder with like my life.
Yeah.
And since a podcast is so deeply personal and deeply vulnerable and like it's I don't know how else to describe it because like this is going on the internet and yeah, sure, maybe you have a small subscriber count right now, but
Yeah.
who knows if that's always going to be the case. And I mean, I'm sure it won't be. I'm just manifest things. And also, like, if someone Googles me later and this pops up, it's there forever. So if I'm going to make something like that with someone else, like, I have to trust them with my life.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how we started, if that makes sense.
And so I love the Planet Nola podcast because it's like you have all these, like, some people are like, very important people in New Orleans, but everyone is like, some people are culturally important, some people are politically
Some of them are
important.
just my friends.
You have some very cool friends.
Yeah, thank
It's like
you.
the coolest people in the city, and I was like, ah.
That's why the idea of Planet Nola existed is because I kind of had a moment where I was like, I have the coolest friends. I know so many exceptional people doing so many exceptional things in this city, and it's comical to me that like the version of New Orleans that everybody sees is like nothing like it what it really is.
Yeah.
And it's like so little of what makes the culture here is jazz.
Yeah.
But like that's what's been marketed the most, and so it's the thing that everyone thinks about like first probably.
Yeah.
And I just think it's sad because there's so much good art and artists here and creatives here, and I don't know, it's just the best place in the
And like,
world.
just even deconstructing all the different successes you've had with your podcast and your YouTube. I won't even start at the beginning. Hopefully, I'll be able to overlay this on the video. But like your logo for Planet Nola, like
Oh
how did you
well,
even go
come
about
on
getting
now,
that?
come on now, that was Laura Sanders.
Laura Sanders, who's come up in this podcast way too many times and never done it.
Laura Sanders, it sounds like you're gonna have to do this podcast.
Okay.
Laura Sanders, comedian extraordinaire, graphic designer extraordinaire. So the concept of the logo was from a play that I had written
Yeah.
in 2013 called Be in Touch, or 2014. And the logo, the initial earth with all the cityscape on it, was a design my friend Katie Simmons Carroll and I had kind of come up with for this play that I had written called Be in Touch, and it was about New Orleans. And so then I took that original design and then I sent it to Laura Sanders and I told her like, this
Whip
is
it
the
out.
idea.
Make it dope.
Yeah, this is the idea. Here's all of the things that I want, which was mostly like a lot of I basically wanted it to be in her style.
Yeah.
I think that's why it turned out so incredible because I gave her like an idea and then I said, "Now just do your version of
Do
that."
your thing.
And that it was so awesome to just be like, I love her style of art.
I love it
I
also.
knew I
It's
was gonna love it.
incredible. And I think this is gonna be the first. No, this is gonna be my second one
Oh.
where I actually have an edit in it because I'm gonna overlay the thing. It's gonna
Yes.
be
Oh, edit
really
it.
cool.
Added it. I was looking for my water bottle. I have a sticker on my water bottle, but I think I put it over there
No,
or
no, no.
something.
We're gonna use
Kristen's
movie
here. Oh,
magic.
look, Kristen's here
Okay,
too.
here it
I'll
comes.
pull
Here
it
it
up.
comes.
I'll
Here it
pull it up
comes.
just in case.
Brace yourselves, people.
I don't know if they're gonna be able to really see it
They're
because
gonna
it's a
see the phone one.
holographic
Point at the
sticker.
phone one. Point at the phone one. Yeah, yeah. It's gonna see real clear on that one.
Okay, good. Anyway,
Nice.
I got stickers for everything on here.
You get for all your stuff.
All my stuff, the gym, Mary's Rack, and yeah, Planet Nola.
Well, now
Sweet baby,
Mary's
Planet Nola.
Rack. This is the one.
Okay.
This is I love when comedians, because like we work on this skill set, this tool. We build this funny hammer, and we want to make everything super hilarious, super funny. We just want to use this hammer all the time. And sometimes it's about your other passions, and then sliding the comedy in.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love Mary's Rack. And could you tell them about Mary's Rack? This is such a
Yes.
great. I almost called
Yes.
it a website. It's like a website to me. It's like, oh, I could just sit here
Oh
for a
my
few hours.
gosh, I love that you said that. That it makes me so excited as somebody who used to just like chill on websites, forums, and like Facebook and or like Neopets back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I like really want to curate a community of people that are like just as weird as me, and like that's what I've done, which is
Yeah.
great, and I love it. But I'm a secondhand stylist, so I'm just like any other stylist, except I thrift or I get all of my clothing secondhand. So I'm sourcing all the time for my clients, and when they come to me, they show up for their rack. I call it a rack,
Nice.
and everything is already curated in their size, in their style, and they just get to try it on, and it's incredibly fun. And I do a lot of other things like thrift hauls and like all kinds of little things in the secondhand thrift world, and it's so fun. It's so fun.
And so you've been a stylist for a while, right?
Yeah.
And have you always did it through secondhand stuff, or
Yeah, yeah,
yeah?
yeah. I mean, to be fair, I haven't been a stylist for a while. It's been like 2 years, 3 years. 3 years now, which still I guess is 3 years feels like a lot, but it's I don't know if it's a lot. Anyway, I'm having imposter syndrome. Like, have I
Well,
been for a while? I don't know.
well, here's the thing. Like, I don't know a lot about like fashion. I definitely don't know a lot about styling people, but I have seen some people who you've worked with.
It's true.
Allison Hotard. It
Yes.
just Allison Hotard just became Beyonce for like the last year. I'm like, what's happening here? So
She's so sweet, and whenever she's got like when she was gonna open for Sean Patton, she was like, "Can you please style me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can style you." And our schedules didn't match up, but she's like, she still wants to like work with me. And that when someone like returns to me, I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing a good job." Like,
yeah, I remember
okay.
those when those first set of photos hit the internet. I was like, holy moly, what's happening here?
Yeah, yeah, she looked really good. She looked really good. Check out my Instagram at Mary's Rack,
Oh
Mary's
yeah,
dot Rack.
Mary's
Yeah, and I do a lot of fun content on there. I try only make content that I'm excited about. So that basically means I'm not a content mill and
Mm-hmm.
like I don't want to run my business like one. But that puts me in a little bit of a disadvantage because the way you stay relevant is by being content mill on
Well, I
social media.
that might be how you stay relevant, but it's like you're getting a lot of views. Like, have you? What was your favorite episode so far?
Oh, of the YouTube channel?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh my god, this is so hard. I think my favorite one was Reagan, which was like I think my second episode. I love all of my clients. No one get me wrong, but what I loved about it is that Reagan was kind of really the first person that just organically agreed to let me film them.
Yeah.
And she's like pretty she's not like shy, but she's not like a comedian. She's not like out in the world. And she like showed up to film and like it was like she just like was so perfect and like was totally comfortable with me doing it and didn't make it seem weird at all and was like so down to clown that it made me feel so secure that I was like, okay, if Reagan could just like show up for me in this way, then like I think other people could because I was really worried that like filming my clients would make me lose clients.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Because like think about it, you're hiring a stylist. You might not want like the whole world to see you be styled.
look at this person. They were a train wreck before.
Yeah. Right.
No.
And I never do that. And I
Yeah.
don't ever think that. But it is like a super vulnerable thing. Even when people come to me and they already have a style and I'm basically just a shopper,
Yeah.
those people are still sharing like a really intimate. What if a camera followed you around while you were shopping? Like that's really vulnerable in a lot of ways. So when Reagan basically was like, yeah, of course, I was like, okay. All right, I can.
Nice.
This is not a crazy thing. Like people will be on board with me because the videos only really work because of the people I'm styling. Like
Yeah.
giving the audience like this like oh at the end because they get to see everything on them. And I think that without that they wouldn't be as beautiful. And so like I'm just like yeah, all of my videos are great. Like everyone has been fun so far.
Man, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
But now we're gonna get into the nuts and the bolts of it.
Oh, I can't wait.
This
Nuts and
is
bolts
so. This
me.
is
Nuts
this
and
is
bolts me.
primarily so like this is Walk the Crowd podcast, podcasting for stand-ups. Now it's just podcasting for comics. And the real reason why I'm doing this is because I have no idea what my podcast should be about.
Uh huh.
So I like to talk to other people who have like actual podcasts that have like great ideas and foundations for it. And so I guess it's starting to shape up to just talking about nerdy tech and stuff like that.
Yes.
With your different projects, let's start with Mary's Rack. Like, is that like a mobile phone or
Just
or
my cell
mirrorless?
phone, and I have Well, actually, no. I now have a video camera for the YouTube, but
Uh-huh.
for up until like I started the YouTube channel, I just did everything on my phone. So I have a DJI. I almost brought it with me. I should have known to bring it with me
No, that's cool.
because you're a camera person
Yeah.
probably. Yes, it's cool. It's the one where you turn it and it's like got a little swivel neck
Oh,
and
it's
it.
so smooth.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
know
and
that
it's
one.
handheld. Like I didn't want something heavy
Yeah.
because like I'm lazy. Like I don't want to hold the camera up like this, and I'm shooting a lot in selfie mode or like so I love being able to just walk around with like in the thrift store or like up to my clients without like a bulky thing.
What convinced you to switch from the mobile phone to the DJI?
Oh, well, it's just because when I was only making content for social media like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook when before YouTube. So
Mm-hmm.
when I started the YouTube, I got a camera immediately.
Yeah.
And it was that one because I wanted a lightweight, easy to use
Yeah, and
one.
that one's probably lighter than a cell phone.
Oh, it's
That one.
so light. It's
Yeah.
so fun too. Like I film so much stuff now.
I've played with it in the Best Buy, and I was like, I want it. I'm not gonna get it. I want it. Now I
Mary's
really
rack
want
paid
it,
for that. Mary's rack paid
like
for
a
that.
boss.
Yeah,
But
Mary's
but
rack.
you started with the mobile phone,
Yes.
and so people like to wait to start, and it's like, don't wait to start.
Oh
Start with what you
no.
got. Yeah,
I'm a big just do it. Just you're gonna mess stuff up, but even if you waited a year from now and you started your thing, you're gonna mess things up then too.
yeah,
There's so much stuff that I just had to do to learn.
yeah.
Like everything, you have to mess it up to get it right.
And like, so that's sort of kind of what I'm working towards now. Because like, even though I don't have like I guess this is a bit of a concept, but I don't have a solid concept. Part of it is learning how to edit, learning how to work your equipment,
Yeah.
and you want to have something to do while you're figuring it out.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you're talking to comics. You're
Yeah.
having just everyday conversations with comics in your city.
Oh
Are
yeah.
they primarily New Orleanians?
Yes, but we're taking this thing on the road
Oh, so it's
eventually.
just conversations with comics and
Oh,
like,
I like it.
why not? I mean, there's lots of podcasts that are funny people just
Well,
talking, right?
well, and
We
I
were just talking about this.
what? Well, yeah. I don't know if I'm. See, now that's where my imposter syndrome
Uh-huh.
starts. I don't know if I'm funny enough to just be here talking about
But you're
nothing.
already doing it.
No, we're talking about
You're
podcasting right
telling
now.
yourself that, but
We're.
you're still putting yourself out here. Yeah, who do you think you're lying to? Come on
I'm
now.
looking at my 30 subscribers right now.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you're doing
I
it.
think it's gonna be 45 by the end of
You're
this
doing it
episode.
and you're listening to it. I'll share it on my social medias. You
Well,
might get more followers.
that's the whole. I'm not stupid. That's the reason why I invite you folks on this show. That was the whole gimmick where it's like, oh, I'm gonna get people who already have
Yeah, that's
podcasts,
smart.
who already have followers,
That's
and then
what you
bring them
should be
on
doing. You're
mine.
doing exactly what you should be doing. If you want some business advice, you're doing a great
Oh,
job.
I would love to have.
Yeah,
Wait.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
One more thing with the equipment. So now for the other one, was it Planet NOLA?
Mhm.
What's the setup like for that?
Right now
That one's so
we
involved. I
applied
love it.
for a grant and we didn't get it. And it was the first time I ever applied for a grant.
Yeah.
So whatever. I guess I'll try again next year. Anyway, so we started on a DSLR and then we realized Carrie's phone was just better quality. So we're on Carrie's phone right now. But I have my DJI. We haven't started yet for season 3, so we might use my DJI. I don't know. We'll figure it out because my DJI is pretty. Like it gets good picture.
I had somebody contact me yesterday about a YouTube video they wanted to do. And they were like, oh, you want to use your camera? And then they described to me what the video was. And it's like, you should actually use a cell phone for this.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that the more expensive camera is not always the correct
It's
answer.
not always the correct answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And so another thing that you mentioned that I really like is the idea of applying for grants as a content maker, as a comedian, as a showrunner.
Yes.
A lot of people don't realize that that's an actual option that they have.
It is an option that you have. It is an option that you have. And if you're not a 501c3, it is harder because there's less grants that are for us, but they exist.
Mm-hmm.
Like the grant that I applied for and didn't get from the Jazz and Heritage Foundation was individuals could apply with like basically art projects, kind of like a podcast, you know?
I wonder who had a better application than you. I don't believe this.
That application was read by not one but two different friends that write grants for a living.
Yeah.
And those two people gave me flying colors. Like I had the most minimal edits and I took all of the edits that I was given and both of them were like, you're gonna get funded, this is fundable. But the reality about grants, I think, is you have to apply more than once. There's this like
Yeah.
politics thing where
Mhm.
the first time they see their name, they're like, I don't know who that is. And then the second time they see your name, they're like, maybe I'll decide I know who they are. And it's like you could just like look into the project and earnestly see if
Yeah.
it's got what it says it does behind it. And at that point I already had 2 seasons behind me. So I was like,
Nice.
surely they will see what, and the way I produce my stuff, I'm very proud of like the stuff we put out there. Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know. Whatever. Next year, Jazz and Heritage.
Next year.
I'm applying again, and I'm gonna. Oh God, you can also call them and be like, "Why didn't my grant get chosen?" And they're supposed to like tell you. Apparently.
I like how you turn into Dwayne Johnson for like 30. I'm coming for you, Jazz and Heritage Festival. I'm coming for you.
Foundation.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how we're doing it.
Mm.
So, what other things do you have cooking right now? Do you have anything else in it that's just coming up with the
Yeah. When's this coming out?
with me? Who knows?
Who knows? A mystery.
It'll be before January's over. It'll be in the next 2 weeks.
Well, the big thing that I have in the pipeline is that I'm getting married.
Oh yeah.
We pushed our wedding up an entire year, and we're getting married very soon.
All right.
And I won't announce it here, but we're getting married very soon, so it's kind of like jarring that that's happening.
I'm like breaking news, man. This is the greatest podcast episode ever.
You are this podcast. If this podcast, you should title this podcast something. Comic reveals huge secret, and then we can take a screenshot like this, like.
We're gonna get a million.
Or I'll say it, and you make that face. I'll be like,
yes.
And then you go, ah, and then you're like, that's clickbait.
Now
it works on YouTube.
Now I gotta know. So you guys are getting married, right?
We're getting married.
And you're a stylist, right?
I'm a stylist. I am making Kristen's outfit for our wedding.
You're making it?
Yes, I'm designing
it. Okay.
Yes.
Do you have an idea? We don't need to hear it all here.
I have a really good idea, but I don't want to say a thing about it.
Oh man.
I know. I have
this
a very
is gonna be
good idea.
amazing.
I know. I can't wait.
Now, what about yours?
I think I'm gonna go a little more traditional.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would. I thought I could do something like, I originally got this jumpsuit I'm wearing. It's a white jumpsuit because I was like, ooh, maybe I'll wear a white jumpsuit to something for my wedding. Maybe I'll be an alternative bride. And my dress is alternative, but it's more traditional in a way.
So you have it already?
No, it's currently in a foreign country being made. I wanted to get one secondhand, but when we jumped the whole wedding up a year, we were like, well, I guess we got to get this figured out right now.
Oh my!
And the way you secondhand shop, you just kind of have to wait, for it to come to you.
Do you have any like side deals with anybody who works at like Goodwill? It's like, if you get any of these, and like, give me a call.
I've been trying to get that hookup for a minute. So if anyone knows how to get that hookup or can be that hookup for me, I would love that man on the inside, woman on the inside kind of vibe.
Okay.
But I don't have it currently.
I'm gonna ask you a question, and you don't have to answer.
Okay.
What's your favorite thrift store in New Orleans?
I'll tell you what I tell people it is. I like to go thrifting on the West Bank because there's a red, white, and blue out there, and it actually takes cards. And there's a Thrift City USA, which is kind of overpriced, but if you go on the Thursday where everything's half off, it's better. It's kind of the only day it's worth going. So yeah, go to the West Bank, go to the red, white, and blue over there, and the Thrift City USA. Don't go to Goodwill over there. I discovered a roach infestation there, and it was disgusting and one of the worst days of my life.
We're sponsored by Goodwill.
Well, Goodwill, I've got a bone to pick with you.
We're not sponsored by anyone.
Let's say, damn, you got a sponsorship for me.
Okay, so now let's say you're at the red, white, and blue. You have your DJI, or you have your phone, or you have one of your other cameras. Do people like look a lot?
I like
that's one of the good things about the DJI.
Yes.
It's so. If you were holding it, I wouldn't even notice it. It's so discreet.
So my camera is like basically like a tiny little stick.
It's like a pack of gum.
Yeah, it's like long and thin, and it's on like a little swivel. It's awesome. It's so discreet, people don't notice. And I just go to an aisle where nobody is usually, or sometimes I straight up just film stuff right next to people and just like cause I'll be filming clothes or something. And I'll just be talking to the clothes filming, and I'm like, I have zero shame.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care. But for the most part, I'm able to find like little private places to not make other people uncomfortable because I'm not trying to like ruin their shopping. But the thrift store is a free fall anyway. Like there's children everywhere. Like it smells like pee. Like you just really gotta take what you can get. So I think me talking to myself is the least of people's problems there.
All right. And so when you've gotten your footage, you gotten your A roll, your B roll. We don't even know what any of that stuff means on this podcast. What are you using to edit these things?
Filmora. I think I paid $99 for 1 year subscription.
Right.
And it's so easy to use.
And that's like a Mac or a PC?
I have a Mac, yeah. And then the app is called Filmora.
Filmora.
Yeah.
Is there like an iPhone version, or is it just on the desktop?
Probably. I only edit on desktop.
And you do your own editing?
God, I do my own editing. I hate it so much. I hate editing. It's so tedious. But I always thought I'd hire somebody else to do it. But now that I've been editing myself for so long, I'm like, nobody else could edit me like I edit me. But I guess a good editor could.
Well, what happens, at least from the other pages I know that have, done the climb like yours, is eventually one of the fans might be an editor.
And they can retain your voice.
Some of my favorite YouTube video podcasts, that's how they got their editor. It was a fan who was an editor.
Oh, I
And then
love
they were like,
that.
"Oh, can I edit for you?" And then they would just
Well,
do it.
the reality is that Carrie Mulder and I always talk about it is that if I get to a point where I can afford to like pay someone like an actual living wage salary better than what she's already getting or could get, like then I could just like have edit Carrie be the producer of my podcast and the editor of my YouTube channel. You
Oh
know what
my
I
goodness,
mean?
you have a
Because
whole
she
community.
knows me so well. Like I said, it's like without each other, like it wouldn't exist. I always tell her this. I'm like literally Planet. You are half of Planet NOLA because it wouldn't. Almost when you asked me, and I was like, "Are we gonna talk about the podcast?" I almost was like, "Should Carrie come?" But then I didn't really know what we were gonna talk about, so I was like, "I don't know. It'd be weird to ask if Carrie can come."
Well,
But that's my girl.
well, here's the thing. Like, I've done episodes with other people who are in group podcasts where it's just one person,
Okay, yeah. I
and
don't know. I don't know. I'm like, we don't know. Neither. Well, she
well,
had a podcast before.
in reality, that's part of the trick because eventually I'll have Carrie on here, and I'm just like doubling up now.
Yeah. Oh, that's
We
smart.
get to
There
hear
you
it from
go.
her
Now
perspective.
everyone can tune back in.
Yes.
Remember when this comedian revealed a huge secret? Here's her friend.
And one of the biggest takeaways that that's come up with talking with you is like how business minded you are, how you reinvested back into the business by buying equipment to make your product better. And I don't know if a lot of people realize that a podcast, one like this podcast, is basically the labor of love. The first time I've never smoked a cigarette during a podcast because we're getting professional. We're learning. We're learning. I don't think I've cursed yet this podcast. This is going great. This is going
This
great.
is great.
But
I
I
love this.
love like the professionalism and like even to like we talked about the logo, the idea that I think you have like an Instagram for both projects. You have a Twitter for both projects. You might even have a TikTok for both projects.
Yeah, I do. And I also have a whole other business that I've had for 7 years with my
Let's hear
partner.
about it.
It's our gym, Vitality
You
Community
own a
Fitness.
gym?
Yeah, I am 50% owner, founder of
Where
Vitality.
is this gym?
It's in Metairie. It's off
I
of
don't believe you.
Airline and
I don't believe
Causeway.
you. I
Yeah,
don't believe you.
Kristen's here right now. I was wondering. I was like, does he not know about the gym?
No, I don't know about the
Yeah, we
gym.
have a gym. That was the OG business. That got me into everything else. Without Vitality, I would be nothing.
Is there something you don't do?
I can't.
Stand up. Boom.
Hey,
That's the only thing I have on her.
I've
Boom.
done it. I've done it.
Ah.
Also, I want to do it more. And like literally last night, I had a bit in my head, and I was like, if there's an open mic right now, I'd go to it. And I was like, I'm too lazy. But like, I do want to do more mics.
I think people who are trained in improv make incredible stand-ups.
Thank you. Yes,
Like
I
once
think
they
so
lean into
too.
it, they make incredible
I
stand-ups
think so
because
too.
you guys are just willing to just come up with stuff. The only problem I have with improvers are the ones who refuse to do the same joke again.
Oh man, no, I kind of am that way
Yeah,
though.
but
But
you
I
can work
do.
it for a few months.
I'm trying. I'm really trying. What I like about being an mostly an improviser
Yeah.
is that when I do stand up, I'm really good at leaning into what the audience
Yes.
response is and going with it. Because on stage, that's what you have to do as an improviser. Is
Yeah.
like you take what works and you leave the other stuff, you know. And in the moment when I'm on stage doing stand up, that skill really helps me.
Have you ever seen? He was in New Orleans a few months ago. Sam Talent. You ever seen that guy
No,
perform
no,
before? This guy, he's unhinged. He's unhinged. And it's like,
really.
where do you learn this stuff? And like, people's like, you can't learn comedy. And it's like, well, these improvisers, they keep coming in here and getting good on us. Maybe there is something you can learn.
There is a lot to learn. I feel like people don't try to learn more. They just like work the same stuff and they don't change it at all. It's like
Yeah,
you gotta like try something every once in a while,
that's what I
change
love.
it.
That's what I love about the improvisers. It's
We change it a lot. We change it every
it
time.
gets annoying though
Yeah,
when
I
somebody's got
know.
something hot and it's like, okay, could you just go up there and kill tonight? Just I get that you want to be Robin Williams. I get to, just go up there and murder him tonight. Let's get out of here. Let's all leave with a W. But you guys push the issue. But that's why you
Uh,
guys are so good at it.
Well, thanks. I just need to do it more. Yeah, I find that it makes me better at all of my jobs. I always say this, like
Yeah.
doing open mics. And it's funny when comedians, I notice a lot on internet comedians, like people who got big from TikTok or whatever, but they're not necessarily stand up. They hit this wall. I'm thinking I'm going to drop a name here and people probably don't even know who it is, but Sarah Shower. Do you know who that is?
No, I don't know
She's a
Sarah
really funny
Shower.
girl on the internet and she has always had like, she was on Vine back in the day. Now she's huge
A
on TikTok.
veteran.
Now she's got a YouTube and basically what her brand is now is just like making ads, which of course you've got to make money. But my issue with her is that she doesn't work her comedy. She just puts all of her comedy out in the world and she doesn't do open well, I think she might be doing stand up now, but for a
Yeah.
long time she was like, I'm not doing stand up, I'm not doing stand up. And I'm like, why would you not want to get better at being funny if you're making a career on being funny? I took like offense to it. I was like, do mics. And I think mics make me better as a YouTuber, as a podcaster. Like they make me better as a storyteller, which is something I'm really passionate about.
Hmm.
And so I want to do I wouldn't call myself a stand up, but I do want to do more mics.
I'm all for that. But I us there's like the whole us stand-ups, we're so snooty, like a lot of stand-ups. Like I was talking with someone the other day, and they were asking me like who are like my favorite female comedians, and I said Issa Rae, and then a stand-up, this is a woman stand-up, and she goes, Issa Rae's not a comedian. And I'm like,
What?
how is she not a comedian?
What?
How?
Okay, that's
So, but like a
fair.
lot of stand-ups, we have this like superiority thing where it's like if you don't do stand-up, you're not really doing comedy.
Right, right. I
And
don't think that. I just
I
think
know
it's
you
an
don't think that.
incredible tool to
Yeah.
sharpen.
Well, and and you
You don't
mentioned
have to be stand up to be a comic.
no, absolutely not.
You
Definitely
don't
not a
have to be.
comedian.
You definitely don't have to. It can be so many different things. Think about SNL and all the sketch writers. My old
Mm-hmm.
favorite show.
Well, your old favorite
It's
show,
not my
you
favorite
beefing?
show anymore. It sucks right now. Do you watch it every week?
Not at all. I haven't watched SNL
Okay, all
every
right.
week since the '90s.
Okay, all right. Well, that was probably a smart move, honestly.
Oh, it was great in the '90s.
No,
It's
but
great.
I liked the Maya Rudolph, Tina Fey, Amy Poehler generation. I liked that generation a lot, even up until Kate McKinnon left. She up
Oh,
until Kate
she's a
McKinnon,
genius.
up until Kate McKinnon, I was loving it, and then once Kate McKinnon left, I've just been like, well, there goes my favorite
What
show.
is she up to now? She's so
She's
funny.
done some film stuff. That remember that Barb and Star? Wasn't that her?
I don't even know what that is.
She does a lot of like comedy films, and I watch every single one of them. If she's in something, I watch it. I don't care what it is. Like, but they're all kind of blending together at this point.
Okay, now we got the three businesses. We have the OG business, which is a gym.
Yeah,
I'm still not sure if she's yanking my chain or
it's
not.
true. We have
What's
a
the name of the gym?
Vitality Community
And it's
Fitness,
in Metairie, and it's got like weights,
and we have
and it's got like sweaty
It's our
people.
7th year we're celebrating on Friday. This
So
is
you've had this gym the entire time I've known you.
yeah. People don't know about it because Kristen's the face. She's the muscle. She is
Well,
the front of the brand. Our gym used to be called Vitality by Kristen,
well,
a name that I insisted we take, and now we've changed it. We changed it in our 5th
well.
year.
The first time I met her, I knew she was like, "Oh, okay."
Buff, yeah.
I was
You're
like,
like
"Okay."
my strong man. We're making her so uncomfortable.
You don't get muscles like that not to show them off.
And
I'm impressed.
they look good. They look
So
good. So
so
yeah, people don't always think about it, and I don't really care. Like for me, it doesn't really matter. Like what people know about what I do. I just as long as I show up and I think my work speaks for itself. Like I
yeah,
think everything I do really speaks for itself, and it's like I don't ever feel like I have to like. Oh, let me tell you, but like it's fun to talk about because I'm proud. I'm like really proud of all my
so
stuff.
look at this though. You got the gym.
Yes,
You are a stylist.
yes.
So you make people look good and feel good on the inside and the outside. And don't you also, I believe you teach some improv, don't you?
Oh, not anymore, but I did years ago.
So
Yeah.
you're like a full service, just get people's lives
Let's
right
go.
person.
Let's go. I know. I'm like, when am I gonna add life coaching? Is that an MLM? What do life coaches do?
They,
I feel like I could do it.
I feel like I could use it.
I don't know. What do they do? They just say, do what you gotta do.
So I've never actually done this, but one of the things about this podcast is we need to talk about what if hypothetically if I had a podcast, what it would be about.
Uh huh.
I've never actually followed through on this. I'm gonna do an episode on life coaching.
Do an episode on life coaching because I want you to know what it is.
I've never actually followed through on one. I did. I think I followed through on the Street Fighter promise. But yes, the next one we're gonna start off with life coaching.
Do it because I want to learn something.
Okay, now tell everybody where they can find you and all your ats and all these things. We're gonna
Wow.
put it on the screen this time. We're
I
gonna be
would
real
love
professional.
that. Okay, please, if you wanted to follow my Mary's Rack career, I'm on YouTube, Mary's Rack. You can just look up, and I'm on Instagram as well, and I'm pretty active on both of those. The podcast is pretty inactive when I'm in off season because it's literally a full-time job, and when we're doing it, it's like a lot of work, and we don't make a penny from it really.
Yeah,
We do have a Patreon, so if you want to be on that, come on down because right now we're very in the red with the podcast, but we love it. Like I'm not
yeah,
complaining. But so when we're not on season, which we're not right now, my social media is essentially dead. I don't want it to always be like that, but
yeah,
but you should still follow us on Planet NOLA Instagram. But just trust me, it's coming back. It's coming back fast and soon. And then we have a YouTube as well. We do video for all of our podcasts. It's Planet NOLA on YouTube, and we got a website. And oh, you can follow our gym if you're in New Orleans and you're looking for an inclusive fitness space where we'll meet you at your level and there's no bro vibe there. It's queer owned, mostly female. Like it's great. It's a great gym. And if you want to look for a good gym, check us out, vitalitycommunityfitness.com, at Instagram, on Facebook. Yeah.
And that has been Mary Jacobs. This is John Reynolds, the Walk the Crowd podcast, aka the podcast about podcasts, aka podcasting for stand-ups. I need to figure out an actual name for this thing so I can make it a real podcast.
Do it. It is a real podcast.
Well, it's not. Okay,
Give yourself some more credit. Good
last thing.
God.
So like with your podcast, like you're actually on like Spotify and like you have the what is it?
Carrie Mulder did all of that.
XML. What do you call it? Where
I have
the
no
feed,
idea.
RSSs. You got all that stuff.
That is Carrie Mulder.
Someone.
Carrie Mulder.
I'm not gonna reference the exact episode, but some podcaster looked me right in the face and he goes, "You don't have a RSS. This is not a podcast.
Oh.
This is a YouTube podcast."
Oh no.
That guy knows what I'm talking about. He's never gonna watch it, but this is all good. This is my
Shame
36 subscribers.
That's
I love
big.
all you guys.
Big numbers.
You guys are awesome, especially for a bunch of nerds talking about equipment.
I love it.
Oh yeah. Oh, and what we're using, we're gonna get out of here. So we're using. Oh, I'm messing it up. We're using. Oh, it's still working. We're using the Tascam X8 Porter Pro, whatever it is. We have moved on from the permanent podcasting thing. I actually use this to record a lot of stand-up audio. We're working on some albums. We're gonna use that, and we're recording on I've switched to iPhone 14, whatever, and I'm gonna mix in some camcorder stuff, and we're out of here. Thank you guys. Bye.